Hey, it's Cornelius. Alright, Kingdom, you volunteered to be the first person for this. No, everything that we do in these, like I said, is meant to be educational. So I'm just going to play your tag. I'll pause at a couple different places to kind of talk about some of the reasons I would do, and then I'll quickly go through probably the way that I would have entered. Like you can say you got a little unlucky, but it was due to spacing on the queen. I'm just going to pause it right here. If we ever do a fun video, we'll go through this. I hate entering on corners. It's 50-50 where she's going. It's hard to tell if she's going left or right. It's just not ideal. For this base, here in a minute, I'll show you why it ended up costing you a little bit more as well. But ideally, I would rather walk her up a side from the side than try to walk her in from the corner. You really weren't picking up a whole lot of value here to, take off an archer tower and a mortar. Even if she had went, back to the left or the right, there just wasn't a whole lot of value. Also like to see a Coco Loon here, just in case there's a Seeking Mon, or Seeking Airmon, a Sam, just to protect the healers a little bit more. A Sam will take out a healer. So the baby drag funnel here wasn't bad, but I think you underestimated what was going to happen here. So I know you had the free spell here. Stop that right there. So the Expo free range on those wall breakers, it was never going to happen. You would have really had to wait on her to aggro. But when you're doing a hybrid at 10, because there's not other structures, like if it's 11, you do have to think about any artillery in the clan castle. You don't have to go into single targets. You can avoid them completely, unless it's a multi. Multis need to go down to the queen, but she can do that on a walk. She can't do it on a single. There's too much trash here. You can see the range there. You've got, this is actually sitting back, which means that she's going to target probably either one of these structures before she steps into that one. You've got, that heavy weighted storage. She can't reach the wizard tower on the side. It's just too difficult. And where she ends up entering when we get there, her range is 5 tiles. So this was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, probably 6.5. So you can see the Inferno had clear range of her. You were also going to engage the CC almost simultaneously. I don't see any value on the single targets. The miners and hogs will run right through it, just as a heads up. So we'll talk about what happened here. So the reason that she shoots this wall and does not go down to this is because the Archer Queen can shoot 5 tiles. Her vision radius is 8 tiles. So if you walk that up, that Archer Tower is 3, 4, 5, 6 tiles in, so the queen can't shoot it. The Wizard Tower is 7 tiles in. She's about 8 tiles from that elixir storage. This Archer Tower is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, probably 10. Let's say 10.5. So the AI for the queen can't even see the Archer Tower, which is the reason that she doesn't proceed up. Had the wall been open, she probably would have walked up, entered that wall, and then walked back down and started shooting this, which seems ridiculous, but that's the way that it works. We'll talk about how I would have entered a little bit differently, and some other stuff. But the reason, she enters this compartment is her vision. It's not what she can shoot. Obviously, she can walk up that wall and shoot that archer tower super quick, but the programming is saying, hey, this is closer. So the next thing here, we got what, 3 or 4 miners in here for this lure. I know you're trying to cut some funneling here. You can get the CC with a single hog here. It's just more efficient to draw it that way. The hog will clear the wall. You know, there may be a spring trap there, but it's still going to start to pull the CC. You've got hogs anyway, so if you have to run 2 hogs to get it out, you do. But the hog will not go down before it pulls the CC. Something else. It's a good hill spell here. You probably could have popped it a little bit earlier. She did get close. And I've talked about this with other people. This is a super easy CC to deal with. Obviously, you kind of got screwed here because of the walk itself. Got a little fortunate here that the poison managed to take down the E-drag while it was messing with the healers. Now, the siege barracks, obviously you want to keep it out of range of defensives, because if its health gets broken before, you'll lose the value. I don't mind the side here, but I feel like putting it that far back will allow these wizards to start moving in to this edge here, which is what happens as the Peck wanders away, and you're losing a lot of wizards here. I think if they're further up, they kind of stick with the P.E.K.K.A. a little bit more, and you can even see them circle back here. And at this point, you kind of knew that stuff just wasn't going right. The hybrid isn't really a good loop around army. So whereas with hogs and a lot of the other troops, you can cut the L coming around, the miners, when they come in, because they go to trash buildings, are going to split all over the place. I think a better entry would have been into here to try to get the town hall. You probably could have got the 2-star, but it's just something to think about too. All right, so let's talk about how I would go about doing it. It's too many damn bases. So if you watch the other videos, especially the Wall Breaker AI video, I think it's a really good video. I always check the ranges of my defenses when I'm looking at scouts. There is room for a Tesla here. It's something you got to worry about. But I also run a test wall breaker, a single wall breaker in front of the other ones, just in case something like that happens. So I actually probably would have started the queen just back of this army camp and probably dropped the barbarian king on this camp and just worked him up that edge. Now, the reason I would have done that is we talk about the tile radius range. This is going to be out of the archer queen's range. You can funnel this out with a minion, whatever you want to do to finish these off. But she'll shoot this, shoot that. If this is gone, she's going to shoot here and here. She can't reach the wizard tower, but a wizard tower range doesn't do anything. And then she's going to continue up this side. You could funnel ahead of her if you wanted to. That doesn't hurt. But the entry point and the ideal entry point is going to be right on this cannon. And the reason is because your queen's going to be engaged. Both of these troops and the air defense cannot reach your healers. These buildings will need to go down. But if there's an entry here, the queen will step up, hit this building, but then the next closest building is there, which gets you to where you want to be because you can get to the enemy queen, you can draw the CC and engage the CC at any point, and she's out of range of all of the key high HP defenses. With that being said, probably would have placed the siege barracks just outside of this barracks here. So the Barb King would have made it somewhere in this range. He may have got that building. But by dropping the P.E.K.K.A. there on the siege barracks, I said we're out of range, but your wizards are going to tuck in behind that P.E.K.K.A. and start reaching over the walls and hitting these structures. The other thing it does is when the attack actually starts, if your siege barracks is beside this or just a little bit back, the hogs that come out are going to aggro straight to the archer tower, which is going to combine with the main kill squad. And then the actual hybrid itself, I would have sent in, knowing that this cannon was gone, this was gone. Just send it in right here. It's going to path into that single target. Single target can't do anything to, that many hogs and miners. That's the reason these attacks have been so successful. The hogs do get some tanking from the miners, but the miners clear all the trash around super quick. It just works really good. If you do that, your queen will reach over the wall here and pick this wizard tower off as well, which is high value to avoid the miners. And again, that helps to complement that pathing. The hybrid itself would move through the town hall to this edge. It may fan a little bit here, but by then the base is wrecked. That's how I would have modified it. The biggest reason that would have happened on either side you wanted to entry, the preference being the queen obviously, is to stay back of this air defense. And you don't need to attack the singles. Again, if that was a multi, it's a little bit different. The multis do hit a lot lighter, but hitting that many troops, you might as well go ahead and take them out because the queen can engage a multi with her healers pretty easy. So there you go.